He did the Monster Mash.
The Monster Mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash.
The
This
week
counts.
after, or
Okay, because
Okay.
it's part of the story, so it counts, right? And I was coming home about 9 o'clock, so it's dark, it's fucking freezing.
Right.
And I walked past this place that looks like it's just sort of open, but I hadn't seen it before. It might have been open for years, I don't fucking know. And it's called Just Chips, right?
right.
Were they true to their word, or is there a lawsuit impending?
They only sell chips.
Got hot dogs here? Nope.
Good, just checking. Just checking.
Can I order a burger? No.
Good for you.
So
Keep it
I
up.
go in there, and there's two people behind the counter. First of all, the door is wide open because, you know, these days shops have to be welcoming, right? If you shut
Yeah.
your door, no one's going to come in. Whereas if the
What are
door's
you
wide
talking
open,
about?
Man, you know what would have been perfect if you walked in there and then there was two motorcycle traffic cops standing behind the counter for, you know, chips, just chips.
Hey.
So they only sell chips, but then the guys that work there are chips as well. It would be the full package.
I've never heard that phrase used to
Or if
describe.
they only sold microchips. I would like that as
Man,
well.
you've never seen chips?
No.
Crazy.
California Highway Patrol.
Yeah, that's it's like an 80s. I got
It was dreadful.
chips.
It was dreadful.
Let's see.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, here it is. Chips official. Wait, did they they rebooted Chips
God.
last year by the looks of it?
Good God.
Oh fuck me. Anyway, carry on.
Fucking
Sorry.
went in there, and it's freezing cold. So like freezing cold. Now, of course, I haven't bothered to prepare for winter at all. I'm still wearing like my really thin, trendy, fucking white fabric shoes. My feet are fucking freezing. I'm wearing my like leather jacket, you know, my cool one, which is Italian, so therefore does not protect you from the cold at all. I'm fucking freezing my dick off, right, in this place.
Right.
And I walked into the shop partly because I thought, oh, I'll warm up in here. And of course, because the door's wide
What, like
open.
a tramp?
Well, no, but like, it's like halfway home, right? I have like a
They
long
might
walk.
catch a few warm air currents next to their ventilation system if I huddle outside next to the chips. Just can't believe you. Like, I'll warm up in this chip shop. It's
Chips
just-
are warming.
Yeah, but
I was like, look, it's cold. It's a cold night. I'm halfway home. I'm going to walk in
Yeah,
here,
they're
get
hot-
some nice chips.
Hot
I'm going to
and
eat chips on the way home.
Stodgy. That's why they warm you up.
And also, I thought if it's just chips, they've always got chips on the go, right? It's going to be really
Yeah.
quick. I'm just going to be popping there.
you're not going to be able to warm up then, are you?
Well, but, you know, it was just for a second. And I thought also, I really wanted to check if they did just do chips, you know, because I was like, I was
you gotta
interested
know.
in that.
You gotta know.
So
Yeah.
I went in, fucking behind the counter are these two guys who are wearing like fucking these clothes that look like they're handling liquid nitrogen or something. Do you know what I mean? They are fucking like in full like warm clothes with massive like
Disposing of
mittens on.
radioactive waste sort of thing.
Yeah. And they're both like they both look like they've just finished their day job on a building site and they've come and worked in here, right? Maybe working and making just chips all the day causes hot chip fat to burn their faces and, you know, cause them to be all patchy. You know, they're kind of
Maybe.
like, they're trolls,
Yeah.
right? They're hunched, they're big, burly men, right? But they're
Right.
sort of short. The kind of men who are angry for no reason, just because the world has given them a bad
Did you
lot.
get beaten up in Just Chips?
Yeah,
Just chips and beatings. That's all
What
we do
happened
in
to
it.
you?
These guys are the guys who were behind the counter. They're the guys making the chips, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
still one
someone's
else.
got to make them. I don't know why you're judging so much. What do you expect? The Queen to be there making the chips? I mean,
No, but they know that this Just Chips is freezing and have prepared for it, right? Because they're wrapped up.
So you're
warm.
blaming them? You're angry with them for
No,
preparing?
not
Okay.
really.
that's a common chip shop attire, though.
It is.
Every chip shop I've been to in the winter has had a man really bundled up, even though it's pretty hot in there when they've got the deep fryers going and stuff. They always seem to have a scarf or like some sort of coat on or whatever. And I think it's because it's like they want to sell you just chips, yeah, but they also want to give off that sort of like, you know, street food vendor vibe as well, you know, where it's like, hey, it's kind of outside, even though it's really not outside. But you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
I think it adds to the experience.
Maybe.
You know?
Experience of buying chips. When
That's
do people
right, yeah.
need this? Just buy the chips.
But the
You-
place
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like quite nice, right? It's not like, I'm not saying it's like a beautiful, hipstery, trendy. It's not like gourmet chips, right? But it's not
gourmet
like
chips.
It's
yeah.
not like a greasy spoon. Okay, it's quite
Right.
small. Like the place, it's got a couple of nice little tables. It's got some nice graffiti and stuff on the wall. It's quite nice, right? Anyway. I say, you know, can I have some chips? And of course they're like, yep. And I'm like,
You wouldn't believe how many times you get asked out a day, mate. I tell you what.
You didn't say please. You just said, give me some chips.
well, no, I said please. Probably. Maybe I
That
didn't.
was left out of your original
Maybe I
testimony.
didn't. Maybe this is the cause of what happened.
Interesting.
then.
Yeah.
And so he's like, how big do you want? And I was like, I'll have large chips, right? Because you got to order a large chips, right? I want a big load of chips. Now I didn't really
It depends
know.
how hungry you are. If you're hungry, yeah. If you're like really, really hungry, you know, sometimes like your eyes are bigger than your stomach when you're feeling really hungry. You're like, give me the super size chips, and then you only eat like 5 chips.
Exactly. And when you get that stack of chips, which is partly we'll carry on with the story, shall we? We'll see what happens.
Yeah, oh no, I can't wait. Go
But
on.
normally,
Yeah, me too. I'm at the edge of my seat here.
When you get a large chips, that's way too many chips. I'm never going to eat all those chips. No way.
I don't know. You think you owe it to yourself to finish. If you bought it and you know you don't want to waste, so I think you have to do it.
So he fucking it's like Johnny sauce on that, mate. And I'm like, yeah, I'll have some ketchup, please. And he's like, all right, that'll be £4.50 or whatever it was, right? I paid him.
Right.
And then he turns around.
You said that these weren't gourmet chips. Where you're paying £4.50 for a large chips?
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of money for chips.
Oh.
And then, so anyway, he turns around to his mate and sort of says something. I wasn't really paying attention at that point. I just sort of looked at my phone, assuming it wouldn't be very long. Anyway, I'm browsing my phone. Like 5 minutes goes by. 2 of them aren't fucking doing anything.
Right.
There's like nothing happening. Like there's no fryers frying. There's no chips happening. There's nothing going on. Anyway, I look over the counter, like sort of nosily, which I wouldn't normally do. Okay, but I'm cold. Right, I'm like moving foot to foot. I don't know whether to put my phone away because my hands are so cold. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm in one of these situations now where I like either am bored. Okay, I haven't got my phone, so I just have to sit there and look at, I don't know, nothing, right? And anyway, and so the guy fucking leans over and presses like a button, like he's forgotten to turn the fryers on or something.
But did he do it in that way where it was like he knew that he forgot to do it, but he was trying to make it seem like it was part of the process?
Did he make the face like, yeah. Yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Or not even. Did he just sort of press it and not draw any attention to it whatsoever to like fool you into thinking that was just normal?
Well, he was in like mid-spiel with his mate, but because he saw me lean over, he thought I might be a new kind of customer. But I think he obviously realised at that point, oh, fuck, I forgot to turn the fryer on.
So he turned around and looked at you, saw that you were staring, he pressed a button, and then you heard the doors lock behind you.
Yeah.
And then they both
The lights
smiled.
went out. Bingo. The spider caught a fly.
Gonna make you squeal like a pig.
I fucking stood there for like another like couple of minutes, and then there's and then he gets some fucking frozen chips out of a freezer. And I'm like, fuck me! Like I've already
Did you
been
say that
here
out
like
loud?
10
Well, you
minutes.
said that really loud.
That's what I thought in my head.
Okay.
Right.
I was like, come on. I suppose it is like 9 o'clock. Maybe they were expecting there to be no one else coming in at this
You were the only person in there at the
anymore.
time.
I don't know what time Just Chips closes, right? But I assume people want chips 24/7, right?
Well, yeah, it is a very grab and go.
And also, like, how long did the chips sit bad in the? I mean, obviously, once you fried them, you've got to get them back out again quite quick.
They get them out into one of those trays, right, with the light on it.
Yeah, but they don't last that long. Like, they get a big
No, but-
Grimbles after a while. So, I mean, they're obviously on a just-in-time cooking process. People come in, they want chips. And, if you've got chips going for Lulu here and some lad comes in and wants chips, perfect. Now we're not wasting chips. Otherwise,
get a
you don't want to have
batch.
chips sitting there for an hour
True.
while no one's thinking, do I just want chips?
Precisely.
I don't know about you guys though, but I prefer when they sort of get the chips I don't like chips straight out of the fryer. Like
Why?
I like them after they've sat in
Because
the
they're hot and you got to wait before you can shove them in your face.
Exactly. That's exactly it. They're too hot. I like them warm. I like warm chips.
I like them fresh and still dripping oil. That's how
Oh,
I like them.
I don't
want
like
tip
them like
out
that.
of the fryer and into my mouth.
Right, you want to be able to sort of, you like to feel the burning sensation of the hot
No, I
oil
don't
on
like
the
the
top
burn,
of
but I
your...
just like the fact they're super hot.
Yeah, I mean, I like hot
So
chips.
so they started cooking the chips.
So they started fucking cooking the chips, and I was like, Jesus. And so I was waiting around and shivering and like getting cold, and
You turned Irish in the process as well.
like-
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus, me chips are freezing.
and no one
Where's
else,
the potatoes?
no one's coming in. No one's coming in to just chips. No one else wants chips.
This is why.
And like another 10 minutes go by. It feels like 10 minutes because those chips. I'm fucking looking at them, and they look like they're done. How long does it take to fry some fucking chips?
Do you ever feel like when you're in a situation like this, do you ever think to yourself, I wonder if I'm on like candid camera or something right now, and there's a lot of people laughing at me because I'm missing out on the joke sort of thing. So you're sitting there waiting for like 20 minutes or whatever,
For
and
Noel
these
Edmonds
guys
to pop out.
yeah, these guys are just like having a chat and stuff, and then you could just imagine like an audience of people at home watching this in like France or something, laughing their heads off because maybe they find that funny there. The fact that you've had to wait 20 minutes for
so
chips.
long for the
yeah.
It's unbelievable.
But like, we had a situation where we were in France, and this guy was like working in this place, but he was accosting everybody that came in. And most people couldn't understand him because they were all tourists. But because I understand French, I understood what he was saying. And he was getting really antsy with people because they weren't lining up properly.
Right.
And he was saying to them, yeah, actually, there's a line here because that's how we do it in this country. That's what he was saying to people.
Sir, that's not how you do it.
And so I was like, holy shit, this guy's really rude. But we were sitting down and I was telling my wife and she's like, oh, I can't believe how rude this guy is. That's crazy. I was like, yeah, I know. And like none of the staff seemed to interact with him either. Like he was just like, he's just this grumpy lone wolf guy that nobody seemed to talk to or whatever. But he was just let loose to be rude in a foreign language.
And ironically,
to tourists.
he's being rude about other people being rude.
Yeah. So we came to the conclusion that we must be somehow on a show. And somebody is
Right.
laughing about this because this guy is just so crazy. It's unreal.
Do you know
right?
what? I reckon that in this world of YouTube and Twitch and pranks and all that shit, like, there's a good fucking chance you are. Some assholes probably put you on a YouTube channel somewhere and you don't even fucking know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened with the fucking chips? I've got to know. Jeez.
Oh shit. Yeah. Sorry to derail there. I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents. Back to the chips though, please.
So I don't know whether it was just a reasonable amount of time or because of the cold weather and the expectation of quick chips and the expectation that because they do just chips, you would assume that chips would be available quickly. I didn't expect, though, I don't know how long I was there. Probably, it can't be more than 20 minutes, really, but it felt like about an hour. It really dragged. And eventually I get my fucking super big cone of chips, like this kind of cone you'd have on like a big dog when it was like...
oh, yeah, the chip cone, yeah.
Yeah, when it had been bad. And
No,
of
it's
course...
not been bad. It's when they've had an operation.
The classic sort of fucking thing they do is they put so in this place they put the sauce on for you, okay?
Right.
Yeah, so you really only get ketchup on about 5 chips in that setup.
Well, I think to make up for the delay in chip speed production,
right?
The guy decided to give it a lovely even coating of ketchup all over the top layer.
You were totally
of
on
the chips.
candid camera.
So it kind of looked like I was carrying a big
You could just
of-
imagine the post editing that they put in with the ketchup squirting sounds and stuff like that. Everybody's laughing their heads off. This guy waited 25 minutes, and now the ketchup is making a fart noise that's going on the chips.
So they gave me the chips in a cone, and normally you'd get like, I don't know, like a little fork or something, right? Because it's obviously chips to go. So I'm holding this big cone like a bouquet of flowers.
Yeah.
And it's covered in ketchup. So I can't really get into it without like getting my fingers covered in ketchup, right?
Yeah.
And I don't really
They didn't give you a little like wooden fork thing?
No,
you know,
I didn't.
Like
So when he handed over the cone with all the ketchup on, I sort of took it and I was like, oh, thanks. I looked at him. I looked around the bar as if like saying, is there a wooden fork, with my eyes, and then looked him in the eye. He looked me in the eye. And there was no... And that was like the unspoken, is there a wooden fork? He said, no, we haven't got any. With his eyes, though, because I didn't actually ask him.
Yeah, God forbid you should open your mouth and say, can I have a fork, please?
Because
yeah, God.
for
That would
some,
have been awkward.
we
No,
didn't
it's-
need it. It was unspoken. We'd spent enough time in that freezing cold fucking place to know each other's thoughts at that point. I knew there was no wooden fork forthcoming. I'd seen there were none on the counter. There were
You
none.
developed a link with this person.
He knew I was watching. Anyway, I walk out of the fucking chip shop and I'm thinking to myself, like, I want one of these now, but I don't want to get my fingers covered in tomato ketchup. I'm also thinking, if I get my fingers covered in tomato ketchup, I'm going to have to lick my fingers. And first of all, chips covered in tomato ketchup are no good, right? They're very sickly sweet. I kind of want to have like a low level, not a lot, but like not swamped, okay? No one wants to just eat fucking tomato ketchup. So I'm thinking, I'm going to have to crack this layer of chips somehow. I'm going to have to more evenly distribute. And also, if I do get my fingers covered in tomato ketchup, I'm going to have to lick my fingers. Now,
Why didn't you just get a serviette? Did they not have them at that place?
Oh no, he gave the other guy a look that said, are there any serviettes? And the guy gave him another look that says, no, they come on Friday. You're too early.
but
Right.
I'm not going to grab a serviette and like individually eat a chip with ketchup, like wipe my fingers. I'm not a monster. Also, I've got to walk home while I'm doing this, okay? And
Ugh.
it's dark.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm just thinking at this point, I'm thinking, first of all, I don't really want to lick my dirty fingers. I've been sat in this fucking dirty place. I've been like handling my phone. And you know what it's like? People always say, oh, your phones are gross. And also I've been handing my keys in my pocket. I just feel really dirty now. And I want to like wash my hands before I start eating chips with bare hands. That's all. I want to be clean.
They should
okay?
make a movie about this story. And then at the end of the movie, the last scene of the movie is the man who is buying chips walking out of just chips with his cone of chips with an even spread of ketchup, you know, applied to the top of the chips. And then he drops the cone on the ground and outstretches his arms and looks up in the sky and goes, what is the point? and it does that. You could get a drone to film it like spiraling away, sort of thing, and it can be like a sort of take on modern life, you know, that can win the Cannes Film Festival awards and the Sundance and Rufio Romero Cinema Award and on all the big ones
So
as well.
I'm thinking all this
It can be artsy.
while I'm walking down the street. And in front of me in the street is
A man dressed as a cone of chips.
no, he's
And
actually
he takes
dressed.
off the cone and it's Noel Edmonds.
You see a gigantic truck drive by, and it's a serviette delivery warehouse
And a giant a skipload of forks. They're just tipping him in the back of the chip shop.
So
And the guys are waving to you sadly. Goodbye, our old friend. Thank you for purchasing chips and nothing more. I'm sorry we had no serviettes or forks for you, but this is just chips. Literally. And ketchup.
plastic cone, not plastic, paper cone. So I'm walking down the street, and I'm in this kind of. It's not like a main street, it's like an alley off the main street, okay? Because I was like,
Right.
you know, it's just slightly quicker to walk around this dank alley for some reason. And I always do, and it's fine. Anyway, tonight there's a guy with his back to me, in like a doorway, like pissing into the doorway, right? And as I'm sort of thinking about how I want to go home before I eat any of these chips, he's like shaking it off, okay? And sort of turns around to me. I noticed he was quite hairy. I thought he was like a homeless guy, but actually he's wearing like a big fucking Halloween werewolf mask, okay? Because he's obviously out for his work's fucking Christmas party or some shit.
He was hairy. Oh, he's got long claws, that man. Very sharp teeth.
So he's got the fucking wolf mask like pulled up on his head, okay? And as he turns around to me and he sees me coming, and he walks at me and like leans over, fucking just gets his hand into the chips, grabs one, I'm not even fucking joking. Just doesn't give a shit. And says to me, "Happy Halloween, mate," and then fucks off. And I'm just stood there like,
man,
what the fuck?
There's no fucking hope for this race, is there?
No, because of that fucking story.
Is doomed.
You took 25 minutes to tell us that you bought some chips. It took quite a long time, and a mean man stole one.
I wasn't eating those chips after he'd had his fucking gross pissy hand in my fucking chips. I threw those chips straight in the bin. I didn't even get my chips.
How did he deal with the ketchup?
Did you ask him about that? Did
He
you say,
didn't give
how
a
are you going to
fuck
handle
about
that
the ketchup.
ketchup,
He
you
didn't
idiot?
give a fuck about the ketchup.
Was he licking his fingers, or did he have a
like a big
serviette?
werewolf just covered in fucking blood all around his fucking chops? I don't know. He was gone. I was shocked.
Yeah, you are a strange man, Lewis Brindley.
I don't know how you do it, Lewis. This is crazy. I mean,
there must be a complete absence of social interaction in your life on a daily basis. This is your week boils down to. It took a long time for me to buy some chips, and someone stole one.
I just want you to experience what was going on in my head.
Oh,
though.
we've
Like
experienced
the
it. I
crushing
feel like I've lived it.
disappointment of getting home and not having any chips after that ordeal.
Yeah.
I had to go through. I was really excited for those chips. They were fresh and you could have chips. I saw them, all the process, the whole process from freezer to
who the
cone.
fuck gets excited about chips? Just buy them and eat them and shut up about it. Jeez,
We've got
move
a
on
bean
with your
to a
life.
cup coffee machine, but I think freezer to cone is a better process in my mind. Anyway, fuck it
right. So just chips. What would you give it out of 5 stars?
I kind of don't mind going back, but I think I need to go back at a busier time.
How?
What do you mean, how? Well, I'm still excited. They looked fine.
I just listened to a 25-minute sob story about chips and lack of forks and too much ketchup, and you're like, well, they did all right, I guess.
Like a 4.5 out of 5, easy.
It's like the most English review of anything I've ever heard. No complaint, and we'll go back. It's like, what? You just sold me on the idea that this is the worst chip shop you've ever been in, only to return. Ridiculous. This is why people like Just Chips get away with it.
It wasn't about Just Chips.
There's no accountability.
Just Chips weren't responsible for the fucking random, fucking party goer, drug guy around the corner having a piss, were they?
So
it's not like they hired him to sabotage people's fucking chips. So they come back and they're like, oh, a homeless guy fucking put his pissy hand in my chips. Can I have another pack? They're not doing business of that guy. He's not coming around the back being like, oh yeah, I got another one.
Not a tramp. He's not a homeless guy. He's a werewolf. All right.
He was probably a student.
He's a reveler out for fun.
Anyway, that was Halloween.
And he sees someone who he knows he can steal a chip from. He's not going to steal a chip from Just Chips. More to the point, he's probably smart enough not to fucking queue up for 25 minutes for chips.
I bet you you're not the only person he did that to. He probably ate a full meal's worth of chips just by doing the same trick. He's like